everyone, and welcome back to the Brightworks and another match of Beyond All Reason, where today I figured we'd start this one off at about the height of a human if you were to stand next to one of these commanders. I guess technically it'd be even a little bit lower. You're kind of like down here, basically. Yeah, commanders are apparently about 30 feet tall, or 10 meters tall if you're not of the Americans and using the proper system. Yeah, apparently you're pretty tiny compared to one of these commanders, and so I thought it'd be interesting just to get a look at exactly what that looks like as this commander in red here, spawning on one of my favorite maps. It's Erebos Lake is going to be spraying us with that build power nozzle. It's going to be none other than Slick Like Vic, a Red Armada commander and a channel favorite, up-and-coming channel favorite, or one that has definitely risen to popularity recently for some wonderful plays and some excellent gaming, and this match certainly looked like a fun one. And I won't lie, it's hard for me to pass up a game that's high skill and played on this map in particular. So, our red team leader, none other than Slick Like Vic, going to be showing us some good old-fashioned Armada gaming on the northern side here of the left-hand side of the map. Switching into our other camera mode here, we'll go ahead and get a good look at this base. We've gone for some metal extractors, solar panels, wind turbines, and then a vehicle lab, all is fairly stock standard. Let's meet our blue team leader. Spawning the other side in a backline position. There's a lot of interesting ways you can play this spot here, and we'll go over that in just a second. It's TM Teriyaki Tylo. Going to be playing as Armada vehicles as well, actually, which makes a lot of sense. I'm expecting to see some kind of early T2 Jaguar into Starlight Rush. Maybe we'll see Bulls thrown in there as well. This map has a lot of metal on it. Certainly a lot of potential and not an uncommon strategy on the ladder nowadays. So it's cool to see the blue commander is going to be going for this. My guess here is that this commander is most likely going to be taking this constructor eventually and moving forward to this area to try and grab the geothermal, the metal extractors, and then eventually push through this little choke point in the water right here until we arrive at the other side. Okay. Not the end of the world here as we do get underway. Not a bad start for any of these commanders. The vehicles make a lot of sense on this map, of course, with the big flat open areas of terrains, and then also the big flat choke points means that vehicles tend to trade out a little bit nicer there, but we do have a lovely scout at the very least from Chaos. Wow. Actually, a pretty much perfect scout here. We've scouted 7 of the 8 bases, which does tell you basically exactly where everyone on this team is. The only commander we didn't see is the Brown, and that, of course, can only mean that the Brown commander has ended up spawning on the southern side right here. Aprog will be stepping forward, also playing vehicles. So, interestingly, here we have core vehicles and core vehicles for Brown and Yellow. And then on the northern side here we have, well, core bots, but then Armada vehicles, right? So we have a little bit of a difference in playstyle, so it should be interesting to see how those mirror matchups do differ from each other. I guess not mirror matchups. Those matchups in the same lane that aren't mirrored differ from each other. Okay, eventually Skater is shut down here. Nice attempt at sniping the con boat right here. Con ship. It will stay alive, though, and that is a huge boon to Bacon Dude 1786.5, the hero of the last game that we casted. If you didn't check out that cast, absolutely give it a watch. I'll try and remember to link it in the end of this video. It was a blast, and Bacon Dude was an absolute hero. Here's another strat that we've seen all too often, though. One bomber across the field right here. Just sending one of these Cortex bombers, the T1 bombers, across to try and find a little bit of damage. With proper scouting, this can often do a ton of damage, and there we go. Bombs away on multiple windmill clusters. Tan Commander and the Orange Commander both taking serious hits. Sucks for the Orange Commander Bacon Dude here because, of course, in the ocean, you don't really have very much opportunity to build those wind turbines. So we do have a T1 con that was more than likely handed over from a teammate. But other than that, there's really not a lot. Oh my goodness, these bombing runs are beautiful. Oh, it just barely doesn't manage to pop the wind turbines. Are we going to go back around? I feel like it's worth going back around. That or trying to target out some of these metal extractors wouldn't be the end of the world either. Okay, eventually, oh, gets another hit right there. Takes out the radar. That's a bummer. That's one of those things that can have a huge impact later on if you forget to rebuild that radar, and all of a sudden you end up in a weird situation where you're blind and you didn't even realize it because that radar was sniped so early on right here. Hopefully, Karunal, the Hot Pink 37 open skill hero on the southern side of the red team, will remember that. We will see. Dolphin sneaking into the back line. Hey, getting a nice bit of damage. All right. Not bad. Usually a Dolphin will be deflected pretty easily here, but this one has managed to slip by. If we can pop that last title. Wow. Okay. Immense value right here for this Dolphin. Another title down. More and more titles falling. That's literally every title generator down the drain right there. And the Orange Commander absolutely ravaged by a single Dolphin that snuck into the backline and managed to pop literally all of the energy production here. Luckily, there's wind turbines to make up the difference slightly, but man, That is an unfortunate moment right there. We have all the metal to reclaim, but none of the build power. Now the Orange Commander is wondering how on earth to get back into this match right here. Now, luckily, there is a submarine on the other side. Looks like it was damaging. Oh, but just barely didn't get the constructor over here. The destroyer now chasing it down. It'd be a bummer to lose this submarine. Oh, but I think we will. Destroyers are quick enough. Yep, submarine will fall right here to the destroyer, and my goodness. Psychor 3, or maybe it's just Psychor, the Maroon Commander here will be taking some hits as the destroyer fires away. Ah, this is brutal. This is a really, really brutal push right here. Yeah, Green Commander asking for some help right here as it is a 2v1. But all said and done, handling this lovely. I mean, honestly, taking out all that title generator back here, it would have been nice if we could have sniped the con, but obviously, you know, getting all the titles is still phenomenal. It means that the energy production was crippled quite badly there for the Orange Commander. It also means that the build power wasn't coming up and running. You should have had a construction turret up and running at this point, but by now we just don't have one. Okay. And there it is. Teriyaki Tilo does indeed move forward to try and grab this geothermal. Going for one of these geos means that you can go for Starlights a whole lot easier. Starlights are notoriously energy dense. You have to pay a bunch of energy to build them, and then you have to pay a bunch more energy to actually fire them. So going for those geos is a very efficient way of getting the energy you actually need for that. Akumar 6 going to go ahead and step into the water. Are we going to go for a vehicle lab or just... No. Okay, we're just getting in the water to try and contest Slick Like Vic, who has already built those metal extractors and is now setting up a torpedo launcher. Not bad. Okay. One torpedo launcher really is all it takes to dissuade a commander. They do about 9% damage to a commander per shot, so 11 blasts in order to kill a commander. So it does mean that you can't really mess around with them. They can discharge a commander very, very quickly here, so it's not going to be like Akumar really has an opportunity at the moment to continue contesting this ocean. We also have a cheeky little seaplay right here from the Green Commander, who's gone ahead and got into a naval lab and then out of a naval lab. So we've gone into the tech and then back out of it, and now we have a couple of boats in order to contest all this at this little choke point right here. And then we've also, of course, used them to secure the metal extractors over on this side. Just goes to show how powerful Navy is, that you can play Navy on this lane and manage to push back your opponent from this position. Those destroyers can reach basically this entire lane right here and punishes so hard. Yeah, any kind of vehicle push. Autopilot taking advantage of that. Setting up a little forward build power here. No doubt going to move production forward. Wow, we are actually going to jump straight to T2. Not bad. Bacon Dude walking across right now. A little bit of a naval skirmish on this southern side of the big island in the center of the map here. Res sub sent out for the repair. We have Bacon Dude now forced into the retreat. Chaos will be helping out. At the very least, building some LLTs, trying to deny any commanders walking forward. Psychor and Bacon Dude do back off, though. Wow, Lacopa here as well. 3 commanders in the midsection. It's a dangerous moment. That area control plasma cluster artillery? No, just plasma artillery. Legion has the cluster artillery. Firing off into the distance, doing a wonderful job of it. Going to be scuffing up some of these boats for sure. Popping the LLTs and static defenses and all the rest of that as well. Not bad. Against Navy, I suppose this is a pretty good position. This does so much damage. It's very rare. Very rare to see one of those actually getting enough value to justify the cost. But I suppose this, at the very least, threatens this Navy quite badly. The Navy right here for the Green Commander. Autopilot is set up. We're going for that T2 vehicle lab. So the Navy really was just a half step here to try and make this work. We do have Shuriken trying to paralyze the anti-air first, or they should be anyway. Ooh, okay, there we go. Anti-air is paralyzed, means that the rest of these are kind of at a... Excuse me, sir. Is there a way to mute pings? It'd be kind of nice. The Orange Commander spamming quite nicely here for air support, but really it isn't necessary. The frigates actually end up doing a great job of clearing a lot of this up. Of course, that leaves the reinforcements a little bit vulnerable here. The destroyer is moving in for a little bit of a pincer maneuver. Bacon Dude now going to be depth charged quite badly. Okay, goes for the self-D. Yeah, just trying to blow up those boats as best he can, and actually does a good number on them. Yeah, most of them brought to very low HP, 2 of them dead, and 1 of them killed thereafter. A 3rd falls, and the 4th is in trouble here as well. The boats have turned around from after engaging the Green Commander here, and eventually the air forces are pulled as well. Big old air battle over this side of the map. The Green Commander comes away on top, but Izzy is underneath to reclaim a bunch of this metal. Still though, 2 frigates and a destroyer up and running right now for the Orange Commander. Just a single destroyer here for the Green. course, that laser beam is quite nice as well. Doesn't do a whole ton of damage, but it does chip away at these boats ever so nicely. Oh, the agitator's actually good. There we go. Oh, 2%. Wow, I can't believe it. The agitator actually bringing down a destroyer right there. Well, there you go. That's something you don't see every day, but that's wonderful. Is he in a little trouble here? Watch out, Commander. 8% HP and falling. Those depth charges are no joke. They do blast commanders down pretty quick.
Commander,
looks like a commander was handed on over here to Bacon Dude. Looks like that must have been the Maroon commander. Frigates out on the field here as well. Going to start firing away those Elsa assault frigates. They're all right. Not the best unit. Not the worst either. Tremendous push on this northern side. Look at that. Akamar 6 manages to kill the red commander and sniffs out the T2 vehicle transition just in time to push forward with the T1. Crumbles the entire laboratory while that 3,000 metal was dumped into vehicle bays and no actual units. That's a lovely timing attack for the Cyan hero right here, who does have a couple of those Mauser as well, which certainly helped turn the tide, and all of a sudden all this metal is ripe for the reclaim. Our Cyan hero on the northern side is looking spectacular. On the southern side, we do also have this T2, well, laboratory producing whatever we can. For the time being, it's just the constructor going ahead and upgrading those metal extractors while the storm is calm and the brown commander is not pushing forward at the moment. It does mean that there's time to upgrade those mechs, and obviously, as many of these mechs as you can get away with upgrading as possible are always going to be better, especially going into that T2 production. A grand hold in this midsection, and frankly, phenomenal gaming from the Orange Commander. Bacon Dude looking spectacular on the high seas, just fighting multiple different commanders at this point. Yeah, every engagement has been efficient, and one by one, slowly but surely, just overwhelming all the metal that's been thrown over to the midsection. Destroyer hunting down whatever it can under the water. We have the commander also diving. Res sub reclaiming, and the commander marching forward for the repair. Meanwhile, this northern side in tons of trouble. Looks like T2, another T2 laboratory is built on this northern side. Okay. Expensive, certainly, to build 2 T2 laboratories, but you do what you must to survive. Those T2 mexes are already up and running, so those are quite valuable. Obviously, having those up and running means you can afford quite a bit more than it would appear. And the bull has so much HP. Fiends here helping out a lot as well. A little repair micro too. The red commander keeps it alive and barely manages to push all this back. Ooh, constructor goes down. That's a bummer. Means we'll need a console out of this laboratory to build some more construction towers here, but all said and done. A surprising but effective defense right there from the red commander. Wonderfully done. I'm impressed that we had a T2 laboratory come up that quickly. That seems almost impossible, but it has worked out here. A couple of platypus scouting around, looking for any damage that they can do, and there's opportunity here, but they're not being microed properly. And green base looks like it was scuttled right here to prevent any kind of reclaim for Bacon Dude, and we do see platypus trying to guard the high seas at this point. We have, yeah, the last remaining vestiges of the Navy being sent on out here. We also have the T2 Naval Lab built up here by autopilot. That's a cheeky strategy change here. We've gone ahead and deconstructed the T2 Vehicle Lab and gone into T2 Navy on the southern side. I guess pointing to, yeah, just go ahead and contest all this from the water on the southern side of the map here. Okay. I don't hate that, actually. I think you need a Navy in order to make this map work. If you lose this spot, I mean, it's easy to see how much of an advantage that gives you, especially once capital ships come out. Seven here retreating for her life as there are now salamanders rolling forward, and grunts versus salamanders is never a good situation. Pitbull, at the very least, helping against those a little bit more. But frankly, this is just a rough situation to be in. Seven now surrounded by a whole bunch of pawns, and boom goes the commander. Just not enough D-guns in the tank for more and more of those pawns now running through the main base. Reinforcements coming this way. Platypus actually fairly effective anti-spam. Their laser does a decent amount of damage, and they have a startling amount of HP. You'd be surprised how effective they can be against just light spam forces like this. Almost like a Centurion, but a whole heck of a lot faster. Shuriken here to try and paralyze whatever of these they can as well, making the cleanup a little bit easier. But Bacon Dude is trying to take advantage of this advantage that he's got. Platypus firing away. Nicely done. Blowing up the commander before it can really get all too much damage done. D-guns down Siven's main base, and that hurts quite a lot. Salamander, of course, resistant to EMPs. This is a rough situation as well. But all said and done, bringing down that commander means like the T2 laboratories, none of that stuff is in danger here, so there's not a whole lot more to be done. Kind of the optimal moves here, but this is just a nasty play and just a ton of metal that's being dumped into this push on this side. Sharpshooter available for blasting away these salamander. We have welders come out here as well. There we go. Pew. Oh, did we miss? Wow. Okay, it's rare, but sharpshooter can technically miss. They do fire a projectile. It's not like an instant. The projectile travels almost instantly, but it is a projectile nonetheless. Well, okay. These salamanders were not supposed to get this far, but all of a sudden the AGO is revealed. One missile connects, and the salamander, boom, goes the geothermal. There we go. Called it a little too early, but the salamander does get the kill on the AGO, taking down not only Siphon's base, but also the Seafoam Green here, and all of a sudden, we need a response. Units. Beamer turrets here to try and cut down the T1 spam. Not a bad idea. They're a little bit limited by the wind turbines sitting in front of them. As those wind turbines die, they'll actually get more effective. Kind of a funny situation, but the Purple Commander's doing the best they can with the build power that they've got, trying to set up whatever static defenses might functionally work against some of these units here. Fiends to try and clean some of this up here as well, and of course the Salamanders, they have quite a lot of HP, but the Beamer turrets can focus down units quite nicely here, so not the end of the world. Salamander gets caught. Okay. A nice response from the air player here. Obviously, when you're playing air, you don't have very many options. But is this too much aggression? I mean, what can we do? Oh, there we go. What can we do about this, frankly? Yeah, the pink commander manages to blow up the base here of the green commander. Autopilot falls. Karunal manages to knock out production. Suddenly, we're left with, yeah, a ruined laboratory over here. It looks like the T2 lab went down, as well as whatever statics were over on this side. Had that Dreadnought out, but it wasn't able to stand up to the T1. Oh, the Navy lab falls as well. This is brutal. Wow. Bacon Dude making it work on the Navy here, despite going up against multiple commanders dogpiling in there. Had the support in the midsection and got those T2 mexes up and running and held them long enough to, well, eke out an advantage big enough to win the entire naval sector here. Lovely stuff. Not really any big eco sector available here for the blue team. These Marauder have a lot of work to get done if they want to win this game. My goodness, the pinging. Let's have a gentleman's agreement, all right? Let's take it really, really easy on the pinging from now on. I know it's fun, but come on. Geo pops, and that's quite nice. Marauder, I mean, I said they had a lot of work to get done, and a lot of work they sure are getting done. The land portion of the orange base has been destroyed. At this point, not as important, though. We do have those T2 underwater mexes, so it's not the end of the world. Still a bummer to lose. Wind turbines here for the Hot Pink Commander falling as well. Not the main production, though, for Karunal. We actually have these laboratories over on this side. Marauder need to make it into some sort of eco center, and it's not like there really is one here. That AGO was kind of the biggest eco as far as energy goes. The Marauder now splitting up to try and do a bunch of damage in the backline. Obviously, unlikely that there's going to be a whole bunch of static defense in the backline, so I like that play quite a lot. Fanned out nicely against the pawn spam here as well. We'll take a huge trade. Okay. Hiding from the Scorpion turret. Always a good idea. Fusion reactor in trouble. Okay. One of the Marauders fall. Can we snipe the fusion? We won't get the fusion. Oh, we just barely do get the fusion. Okay, lovely stuff. Fusion does just barely fall. We need to get this guy out of the range of that Scorpion turret. We can evacuate here in order to avoid that. Maybe just park it where those wind turbines are. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4 bases destroyed here by these Marauder. All of a sudden, things looking a little bit better all of a sudden for the blue team. Yeah, This looked like a GG scenario with the Navy completely lost. All of a sudden, this looks quite reclaimable. T3 lab up and running here for the yellow commander. We have some walls surrounding the T2 AGO. Not a bad idea. Especially for core commanders that don't have that safe AGO, the Prude. The second wave of Marauders is coming across, but you're never going to have as much value in the second, third, fourth waves of Marauders. At that point, more and more units are coming up here. Well, if we could snipe this capital ship, I believe we just saw it with this Marauder underneath here. Yeah, I think we just scouted the capital ship over on this side. Well, if we could get rid of that, that would be huge. LRPCs being constructed on the high ground here as well. Always lovely whenever you see one of these interesting looking cannons. Reminds me of that one Star Wars cannon. You know the one I'm talking about. The one EMP cannon in all of Star Wars. I guess there was that one from the Clone Wars too that they hit the Zilla Beast with. That wasn't really a cannon though. That was more of like a tank weapon. Anyway, Lakopa taking damage. I'm a huge Star Wars nerd. In case any of you were like questioning, you were like, oh, I don't know, maybe he's a fake Star Wars nerd. No, I'm legit. I'm legit. I'm obsessively legit. Lakopa here. Oh. Oh. Hiding in plain sight. There we go. Does go down from those Marauder. It does also mean the Marauder can move up this high ground and knock all of this out. Man, Marauder are good, aren't they? Salamanders resurrected from beyond death. And now they've come back to assist the Lavender Commander here. Zydeco gonna be holding the ground with those good old-fashioned Salamanders that have been pieced back together by some Resbots. We'll have some Salamanders on this northern side trying to sneak around in the water. Commander on this northern side. Oh, Akamar. Oh, with a beautiful D-gun. Manages to kill one of those Starlights. Okay. Funny to think about, but a Commander Corpse is basically the same cost as a Starlight, so all said and done, I suppose that was an even trade. Of course, losing the D-gun potential is unfortunate. Orlani does go down. Marauder with another Commander snipe. T2 Laboratory falls here as well. That's a huge chunk of production. In fact, that's all the production right now for the Hot Pink Karunal. Okay. What are the major production centers? At this point, we have the Orange Commander's T2 Laboratory. Looks like that capital ship was, at the end of the day, denied. Yeah, didn't make it out to the field here. Resurrected Marauder. Always a little bit of a worrisome sight to see your own units resurrected and sent back at you, but at the end of the day, as long as you can keep killing them, maybe even reclaim them, you'll be in a decent spot. Marauder need to get on these fusion reactors. That's kind of the last saving grace right here for Hot Pink Hero Karunal. If those go down, then this looks really, really dire. Bombers flying overhead here. I don't see a reason why they shouldn't bomb these couple of Buccaneers. Or these T3 units. There's not really enough Air Force to stop all this. Air Scouts headed out right here. Do we have a nuke charged or something? Or are we just scouting for bombing? I guess we're just, scouting for bombing. We have Air Scouts sent out, but they don't achieve all too much. All said and done. Gonna be a big old air clash right here. The T1 fighters taking a kind of unfortunate trade against those T2. Goes to show exactly how powerful T2 is relative to T1 as they stomp through that fight. Get out of my swamp, I guess is what they were saying. I don't know, maybe combining phrases there. More Marauder popping up on the beachhead. The right unit in the right place at the right time really is all it takes sometimes. At least Shiva have gone on a tear here. I will mention. Teriyaki Tilos resurrected a commander on this side. It's nice to see. The Shiva have done a bunch of work. But is it enough? Is it really enough? Brown Commander has gotten very bold. Has pushed quite far forward here. Maybe thinking about T3. We should be thinking about T3 anyways. We're going for an APHIS. Okay. Marauder, like I said earlier, finding less and less value as time goes on. Sniping the mexes is huge. Each of these is 8 metal per second, and denying that to the enemy, definitely well worth it. But we're not destroying entire bases at this point, right? I think maybe pushing forward here and trying to kill one of these bases would have been much better off. Taking out the air is obviously a huge strategic value. We have the bombers coming across here. Heavy bombers trying to target what they can. And they're just going to go for the build power. Okay. Honestly, fair enough. Yeah, killing that build power is super duper awkward right here. And it's not like these bombers are dead yet either. Air player struggling to get an armed force up into the air to try and shut these down. Yep, no anti-air available in these bases. Oh no. Oh, what a wonderful advantage those Marauder had bought, and all of a sudden it's thrown down the drain because there's no static anti-air. Yikes. I would have figured after we watched our air player lose that engagement, that massive engagement on the enemy side of the map, we would have at least put together some static anti-air. But no such case. Boom goes the fusion reactor. The APHIS will be the next target on the next pass. Ooh, fighters. Ooh, fighters. One bomber survives. Oh no, bombs away and the APHIS goes down. What a valiant effort from those fighters trying to clear the airspace, but they just don't get it in time. The blue commander knocked out of this game, or at the very least for the energy knocked out of this game. Constructors are shared though. And this is looking deadly. I wanted to believe, I really did. The bombers here trying to take out as many of these Marauder as possible. They're actually seaplane dam busters. They're very good. They drop a big cluster of bombs rather than a kind of a line of bombs. Makes them extremely powerful against single targets. Marauder popping up to try and do whatever damage they can. I think if they had done this a little earlier, this actually might have been a huge trade. Taking out this orange production facility does shut down a whole bunch of the support on the other side of the field. Obviously, this Marauder can only really reach so far while they're standing ankle deep in the water right here, but it's something. The bombers all over the place. AGO falls. Those T2 fighters sweeping away. Oh, build power falls too. Oh no. Build power goes down, and that's going to leave the purple commander crippled. Yeah, there's not really anything you can do about it. We have one constructor, one lone ground constructor, but it's going to take at least a minute before the build power comes back online. And really, you need 20 construction towers, not just the one. Oh no. It'll be the lack of anti-air, the lack of ground-based anti-air that kills the blue team. They had every opportunity just there with some beautiful Marauder run-bys to pull it back, but they just didn't quite manage it. It'll be our red heroes who managed to take the victory in today's game from what looked like a losing position. They managed to snatch it with some overwhelming airplay to counteract the Marauder push. Thanks a ton for watching, folks, and if you do enjoy this map at least as much as I do, should probably hit the like button down below. That only makes sense. It helps propagate these videos as well and puts bar on the face of the internet, which is always a good thing as far as I'm concerned. But I hope you have a lovely rest of your day, and I hope to see you again in the very next match of Beyond All Reason. Peace out, everybody.